Welcome to the premiere episode of Community Solutions TV. I know, you were expecting the Andrew Richter show. Well, I took it hostage for a night. So this is the show where we're going to present ways for you to empower yourselves and your community to restore self-reliance and liberty. We're going to cover everything from victory gardens and chicken ownership to transit-oriented development and city charters. So we'll also look at the root of legislation that causes these issues and teach you how to fight for what is best for you and your neighbors. Today we're going to give you a quick overview of where Community Solutions Minnesota was born and what we stand for. And then we're going to invite Andrew Richter, surprise, surprise, since it's technically his show. Yeah, he is here. We're going to invite him on to discuss some of why he got involved in local politics and why it's important to pay attention. So in 2008, I had an idea. I was fighting against the city of Crystal for the County Road 81 redevelopment. There were a number of homes and businesses that were going to be taken out, and I rallied my neighbors along with some other folks that I worked with, and we had standing room only in the city council chambers, standing room only. Yet they decided that they were going to go forward with their plan and not listen to us. Again, surprise, surprise, given everything that Andrew and I have talked about before with transit-oriented development, right? So, after losing that battle, I decided it is so important for neighbors to be able to work together. Because if we don't work together and if we're not aware of what goes on in our communities, how can we ever stand up to local government or state government or county government, federal government? Really, it starts with the individual, and once you're fine, then it's up to you to make everybody else in your close-knit family fine, and then once you have your family, it's working with your neighbors. So after all this, I had met Candace Oathout then in 2009 and decided that I was going to present this idea that I had to her, and she thought it was a great idea, and her and I together then worked and came up with a series of public meetings where we were gathering neighbors together and we were teaching them about the way that local government worked, and everything from having a neighborhood watch system to how the city charter worked to, it just blew my mind. I mean, I never knew that it worked like that. I didn't know that the way that our local government was set up was not in a way that was best for the people, but what was best for that local government to pass whatever they wanted without us knowing about it ahead of time. So, needless to say, the group grew and we got involved in a number of things around the city. In the 2009 school board elections, we held some meetings with the school board and the public was able to voice some of their concerns, and the school board gave us some answers, some good, some we're working on it. And those were attended rather well by the public, and even the superintendent came. So it was really encouraging. And that same year then, we had what was called a speed campaigning event where we allowed people to come together, and the candidates went from table to table to table to discuss what their issues were and to answer questions. And so after this was a big success, we decided that we were going to keep engaging the public and we weren't going to let up. And that led us to getting involved in not only teaching people how government works, but getting people involved in their local governments, and how important it was to get involved not only running for elected positions, but on the boards and commissions that advise the boards and the councils. And so that's something that we've been working on, as well as I'd like to bring Andrew in now. We did a petition a few years ago, and this is another great way to get your government to listen to you, is to go out and make them hear the voice of the people. So Andrew, why don't you tell us a little bit because I know that you worked with me on this, as did a few other real stalwarts like Red, and So why don't you explain a little bit about what we were trying to do? And
well, it kind of, first off, that's the longest anyone's talked in this program other than me. I just want to let. I've never been quiet that long on this show.
Are you saying it'll never happen again?
No, I'm not saying that. I'm just
All
saying it's hard for me to sit there and be quiet. Well, basically, it kind of piggies off what you said about the Highway 81 deal. Because this stemmed from that. What Hennepin County did was they forced basically a county levy on our cities for about $500,000 a year that we had to pay, and I believe it ends in 2014, right?
Mm-hmm. Right.
And our petition was to try to give us a vote, give the citizens a vote on whether we wanted that tax or not. Well, we went around, people like me, Jason, there were a handful of other, we had very little time to do this, 3 weeks, 4 weeks.
Yeah.
And we needed hundreds of signatures. If you've ever gone door to door, it's not easy. Knock on every door. You got to say the same thing. You got to educate somebody. Some people knew about it. Some people knew it was coming. Some people heard about it. But I'll say straight out, and I said this to the council, I had not one person, I had nobody refuse to sign this that I speak to. That shows you the level of opposition. If there's an issue, if there's organization, if there's people with heart who want to come out, and I'm cool if you and I disagree on another issue. This is about a forum for debate and not about pushing, a certain point of view. At least I don't take community solutions as that.
No, not really. It's just about what's best for the community and getting people organized to be able to present that.
Yeah, and showing, maybe reporting what you're not seeing in the newspapers and what you're not seeing on Channel 12. You might get a good idea from it, but you may not get the whole story. So basically, as it went, the petition went to the council, and the council basically tried to disqualify it.
Yes.
And succeeded in doing so, saying we didn't follow their, quote, process. It didn't matter that not a single person refused to sign it. What matters is we didn't follow their rules.
Well, and let's take this a step further. We followed the rules that they had laid out, and then they told us, oh, you didn't follow the state rules for petitions, which this didn't fall under. And after we made them realize, oh, yeah, shoot, they're right, then they just went and disqualified a bunch of the names, saying that they were illegible, or that,
didn't have...
they thought the same person signed husband-wife.
Husband and wife can't sign on the same line. And basically the city manager also, at a future meeting, joked that this was not a proper subject for a petition. And of course the council, in their usual arrogance, went, ha, ha, ha. They all had their belly laugh.
Yeah.
It's always funny when we're not around. They giggle at citizens trying to say no to something. Their elitist point of view won't let them see that. So that led me to get more involved locally. I was rather angry. I had a few adult beverages afterward. And I just dedicated myself, and I had met Jason, Candace, and some other people previously to that, and I decided to go all in on the community solutions, and it's gotten to the point where I'm going to run myself this year. I can't say, I just feel that we're at a breaking point. We're at a tipping point now in our neighborhoods, that if we don't get new people, and as Jason mentioned, when I first got involved in local government, I didn't know that there were park and rec commissions and planning commissions. I didn't know how, I thought the mayor acted like a governor and vetoed things, but there isn't that. There's no checks and balances. There's no separation of powers like you have in your state and federal constitution that are supposed to, it's all designed to protect citizens, that has to go through the stages. Financial bills start in the House. The Senate is where it kind of gets taken apart. Then it goes back to the House. Then it goes to the executive branch. And there's all these steps along the way for citizens to be engaged and for citizens to observe and give their opinions. And in your local government, it doesn't work like that. They go off, they sit in their work sessions, they talk about it privately. Then by the time they're ready to move on something, then they'll hold a public hearing, but they've already made their decision.
They've already decided.